Welcome to Virtualize Everything, where we strive to educate and inform the viewer about technology and technology-related topics around the world of virtualization. Tonight's video presentation has been one I've wanted to do for a long time, as the root user in Proxmox really annoys me. It's kind of a security thing, right? If somebody knows your username, they're already one step closer to being able to get into your system. Yeah, you're behind an ass, and you have a more secure password. I get it, but it annoys me. So it's one I've wanted to do for a couple of years now. But with that, every time I've tried, I've either locked myself out of my server completely or been hit with a bunch of user messages that I found rather annoying. So I always just gave up and moved on, and worked on other things to bring other content to you, or just worked on my personal projects that I wanted to work on and learn using my server. You know, the stuff that brings us all here to YouTube. That type of thing. So, with that, I actually sat down last night and spent a few minutes to learn about and figure out how to create a user account that works, and then how we could disable the root account. That's right, we'll be disabling it, not deleting it, because Proxmox doesn't allow us to delete it, and we just don't need it to work. So, let's look at how we did that. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the server, and then we're going to select shell. That's going to bring us up to a command line prompt. Yours will open in a separate window. I've configured my screen capture software, so it'll just lock a window in. This is so that you guys can have bigger, easier to read text. The first thing we're going to need to do on this server is add a user account. We're going to do that with add user and then the username. Now we need to install Sudo in order to give this user account root user permissions. Remember, we're going to disable the root account, so you won't be able to install software or any other thing without Sudo. As you can see, I already have it installed, but the command to install it is going to be apt install sudo-y. Now we need to tie this root user to the sudo group so that it can use sudo. Add user, username, sudo. This will tie this user to the sudo user group. Alright, so we're done on the command line interface for a few minutes. Let's head back to the web interface. Under Data Center, let's go to User, and then under User, we're going to select Add. We're going to add the user, and you can fill out this other stuff if you want. Click Add. Now, under Permissions, we're going to click Add, User Permissions, and /. This allows the user to use everything. If you want to lock the user out for other things, there's some other options you can choose from. This is for everything. Now we're going to select Test, and we need to pick the role of administrator. This, of course, can be selected for other things if you want to do other things with this user. Administrator allows all other. Now we can click Add. Now, if you're unsure if you want to use a different role than administrator, you can look at the pre-configured roles, or you can configure your own role by clicking Create. Alright, so now back here at Users, let's reset a user password to make sure that Proxmox also has a configured password for this user. Alright, so now at root, up here, let's log out. And test our new user, making sure that everything still works and we can still do everything. Alright, so the user works. Now let's head back to Data Center, and under Users, select Root. Hit Edit, and here for Enabled, uncheck the Enabled box. This will disable the root user from the web interface. Now root still works at the command line level, so we'll have to do something about that. So let's head over to the command line interface and enter a few commands to get rid of that problem. So the first thing we need to do is either log out or switch users. I'm going to switch users with SU and then that username. Alright, so now we're using a different user. We can enter the command sudo passwd-l and root. Enter our password, and you'll see the password now expired. So that essentially disables the root login. So if we were to exit and exit again, so now that we reopen the shell after exiting it twice, we'll presented back with a VE login. At that VE login, if we tried to use root and our old password, you'll see that it actually tells us that we have an incorrect password. But we can now use our new user and log in. So root's been disabled. The same goes for our command line interface. So if we were to log out and try to log back in, we get an error message. Root's been disabled. That's how you disable root user access on Proxmox and set up a new user for administrative configurations. I hope you enjoyed tonight's video, found it useful, and are now able to eliminate the root user from your Proxmox system. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help Virtualize Everything continue to grow and bring you more content about virtualization. Have a good night!